means your opponent can't rewind it back, but still.
Now, I think RDU at this point, he has to survive for one more turn. Reynad can't actually heal with this lay on hands now, so he's going to be in range of a Frostbolt top deck from RDU.
You're right.
You can Fireball, Frostbolt, and Ping.
Yep. Oh, well, True Silver Champion might change that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ironbeak Owl to get past and get some easy trades also sounds pretty desirable. When he gets off the armor plating. All right. Reasonable.
Right.
Pressure right back at your opponent. Frostbolt isn't out for RDU.
Yep, Reynad didn't heal, so will he get punished for that?
I don't know if he's accounting for that either, though, because of the Emperor Thorzen.
Oh.
Kieran Tordmage. He's got 2 cards to interact with secrets, but no secrets to be found. And does that mean he's dead? No, he has to Fireball, right? No, if he Fireballs, he gives away some cards.
I think he can just, again, play for the Frostbolt top deck. I don't see any other way for him to win.
But if Reynad draws 1 point of damage, that's game.
What are the sources of 1 point of damage, though? Like
Consecration.
Besides Consecration, I guess, is there anything else? Perhaps, are you thinking about, like a +1 Whirling Blades? That's also a possibility.
Right.
Or a second Defender of Argus, although I don't think anyone plays 2 Defender of Argus in Paladin.
If he equips a True Silver and kills stuff, he'll go down to 14. I guess it doesn't really matter. Frostbolt will still be lethal. Is there any way for him to be completely safe? I mean, by now he has to understand that RDU has to be holding fireballs.
He has to lay on hands.
Mm-hmm.
That is the completely safe play.
Instead of Dr. Boom. Yeah. You know, 3 mana still is a lot. You can draw a Peacekeeper and really get some good tempo. Not to mention you can still do like armor plating, pick up a decent trade. I like it. Yeah. A safe play and very good analysis from Reynad. There is a second quartermaster. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Reynad just is going for a complete win. He's pretty much with that play, the lay on hands. I think he's pretty much locked up the game at this point. The sequencing is it was slightly out of order there, I guess, because if he got in the Shadow Boxer and they then laid on hands,
right,
could have gotten 1 more damage in. But
you know, you want to draw to see what you got. I don't think you account for Shadow Boxer to drop out.
I don't think anyone accounts for Shadow Boxer. But no, we actually do have to point out. I believe Reynad did play around, or he did play into the Pilot Shredder being in the middle.
He did.
So props to him. So he joins the list of Hyped and Amaz.
That's why he's legendary. He's going to try to see if he can steal Sylvanas. It could be the way he saves himself. Oh, very nice. Reynad's a couple points off from lethal. Let's see. But Dr. Boom still out here. Very relevant.
I'm not sure if you want to play Dr. Boom into a Sylvanas, though.
That's true.
You can try to clear up the Sylvanas, but I don't know. You can also just, like, choose over the face, to be honest. And your opponent, you rely on your opponent to have to kill you or draw something like a heal. But what Tempo Mage, I don't believe runs any heals at all.
So if you choose over the face, you play Pilot Shredder and Hero Power. Your opponent has used a Fireball, so at most he can do Fireball, Frostbolt. That's 9 damage, 10 with the Hero Power, plus the 12 on board. So 22. 22 is the most.
Technically, he can like unstable portal into Leroy Jenkins, right?
Ooh, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So still really dicey though for RDU.
Yeah, Sylvanas can steal something, but yeah, like.
After that,
exactly.
It's like, Consecration weakens your board significantly. This is still a really tough spot. No,
I think
not good.
Yeah, what RDU was trying to do is he's trying to get the Boombots to hit a Sylvanas in order for the Sylvanas to steal.
No.
Well, okay.
All right. Well, the Boombot. I mean, it was a really tough spot, anyways, but those Boombots sealed it. I think Dr. Boom there was perfectly fine. Choose over to the face was also okay. And Reynad ties it up. Paladin won a game. That was the important thing, right? Because before, no Paladins actually won a game in a series on day number 1.
Yeah, I especially liked Reynad's choice to put Toshli into his Paladin deck. Yep. It's a decision I initially questioned, but after seeing it, it did its job effectively. It traded for Emperor Thurzane. So.
I think the comparison is like, why is Cairn so good? It's because back then he traded so well into everything. But like Toshli has so much extended health, and he gets you spare parts, which can be really useful. So in the end, I think Toshli is a really underrated legendary card that people just assume like, well, you put Toshli in like Mech Mage, so that way you can get more spare parts for Antonidas. But I think that was really cool.
Yeah, when Toshli first came out, people just like kind of looked at the effect, the Battle Cry plus Death Rattle, but people ignored the stats kind of and underrated that as opposed to.
Right. Yeah. If you think about it, 6 attack on a minion is not as valuable as 5. It's not too much more valuable than 5 attack.
That's true.
There's only a handful of minions in the current cycle of cards that you'd want to play that would be useful against. I think Druid the Claw because it has 6 health. Water Elemental because that's 6 health. And like even then, it's still a very small collection. Meanwhile, there's so many that have 5 and below that you want to be able to kill off, especially when it starts getting higher.
Yeah.
So I think Toshli, even though it sacrifices 1 stat to Bold-Fist Ogre, the Battle Cry and the Death Rattle is highly relevant.
Yeah, completely agree. Also, like, there's just a lot of things that do 4 damage and 3 damage, and nothing that really does 5 damage. Can't really name anything that does 5 damage in the current metagame, to be honest.
You mean spells?
Yeah, Kill Command, I guess. But
Command.
How often are they kill commanding their creatures?
Starfire.
Starfire, okay.
Or Starfall.
Yeah, I guess I'm not playing enough Fatigue Druids.
No, I'm just thinking, well, I'm thinking out loud because you're saying, like, what cards do it, and I'm, like, trying to reach really deep to
Arcanite Reaper?
I guess Holy Fire from Priest?
Yeah. I feel like that Holy Fire has been, like, replaced by Anti-Keelbot even, which kind of speaks to the value of Anti-Keelbot replacing a Priest class card.
Yeah, for sure. And not to mention that, Light Bomb sometimes addresses the board better than what Holy Fire could do. Pretty sad that no Priests are coming out. Why do you think there's no Priests, even though they got a new card?
Because I feel like Resurrect, it doesn't have a lot of synergy with a lot of things. Like, it actually has anti-synergy with Cabal Shadow Priest, for example. Like, you steal their stuff, and then then eventually, like,
you might get
you resurrect it, yeah.
But I mean, at worst, the 2 mana to whatever card that you take out. Like, at worst, it would be really awful if you stole a 1 mana minion, like an Abusive Sergeant, and then you got it.
Yeah, that's true.
But you have a really good point. Like, it feels like the only way you can really do it is use Resurrect effectively is if you have a big minion deck. And even if you have a big minion deck, Priest is like one of the worst at like seizing the board back unless you draw like the Alchemist Soul Priest combo. Which means are you gonna throw like a Larmobot in your deck so that way you can put big minions? I don't think so. That's why Resurrect's a weird card. But I guess the bigger question is, even if Resurrect's not necessarily the card that Priest is looking for, why did they stop playing it in tournaments? Is it just because people forgotten about it?
Yeah, it's I feel like, I mean, some players still play Priest. Savitz, for example, has been really favorable, really favored his Light Bomb Priest, the Chinese Priest even. But I guess it's just a class that's really inefficient. Kalento is also a player that likes his Recombobulator, Shrinkmeister, Steal Everything Priest.
I like that Priest. It's fun. So.
Yeah.
But so you think it's just that people don't like it as much as they like Druid, as much as they like Mage, and as much as they like Hunter.
Yeah, I just feel like
I would love to bring
Priest just doesn't feel as consistent as some of the others, and not as like overall powerful is the main issue.
I like bringing Priest versus Hunter at the moment, and even make Mage. Guys, we have a little bit of a problem, so we're going to try to fix that in a couple minutes. So when we come back, we're going to continue RDU versus Reynad, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, thanks so much for bearing with us. We realized we had a little bit of technical audio issues on the stream, but we've, for the most part, fixed it, so hopefully everything is good to go. And in the meantime, we're getting ready for the game number 3 between RDU and Reynad, who they've been patiently waiting, so everything should be good.
Yeah, the series is tied 1-1, and we'll see who will be able to take it out between the best of friends in Hearthstone. That's
right. Reynad and RDU, there's not quite a pair like these guys, as they go way back even to last summer. The summer of 2014, never forget. So let's take a look at the actual lineups here. We have Druid versus Mage coming up here, and that should be a fun time, as looks like we're going to have the Tempo Mage try to capitalize on the Druid's lack of ability to come back on the board easily. So overall, I'm thinking RDU is favored here, but every time I underestimate the Druid just does really silly things and breaks the rules. Especially if Emperor Thor's can come down and just completely negate any tempo the Mage gets.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Mage is very favored against this Druid, especially the Tempo Mage. Just like the existence of Mirror Entity in that deck just makes Tempo Mage so favored because Druid they just have such strong minions and they don't really have choices to play around Mirror Entity. Whereas in the previous game between Tempo Mage and Paladin, Paladin has so many minions that are really good against Mirror Entity. So I believe Paladin was very favored there, but Tempo Mage should be favored here. But look at that start from Reynad.
Yeah, Reynad gets the Innervate Shade into Wild Growth into Coin, whatever comes out in the next 3 draws. Very difficult. Now, RDU still can get a 1-drop. A Mana Worm would be excellent.
Yeah. This is actually like, how many times have we seen Innervate
around 4 times already
into Wild Growth in this tournament? Yeah, around 4 times, right?
And your Keeper of the Grove is going to be excellent too, because it can shut down easily whatever comes out here. So very, very, very good start for Reynad. Now RDU, he can't get too salty because he did this I think twice to his opponent yesterday to Strife Crow. So yeah, he's about to get dunked on. Now the thing is that Sorcerer's Dependence will live for a turn, which is good.
Yeah,
so that gives him some Unstable Portal tempo back.
Could be very useful. If Unstable Portal drops something like a 5-mana minion, then you can afford to play it as well.
There it is.
Oh,
Mirror
Mirror
Entity.
Entity.
Pretty effective. So
I think you just Kirin Mage here.
Yeah, Kirin Mage still gives him a sizable amount of tempo back. And I guess overall right now they're even.
Yeah.
Because the Innervate and the Wild Growth, it calculates about the same.
Yeah, that's about right. You know, in all the Tempo Mages, Tempo Mage games that I've casted over the past few months, I've actually never seen Kirin Mage be used for its ability. It usually just comes down as a 4/3, I feel.
Still, though, Keeper of the Grove is one of the least harmful mirror entities that could be coming out, especially considering that next turn he has that Coin Sylvanas or whatever comes out. And of course, the Shade of Naxxramas gets a 2-for-1, so it goes even with cards. Then hopefully that Keeper of the Grove should be able to address whatever comes out.
Yeah, both are, they've gotten their kind of insane starts.
Ooh,
and both are just fighting for board right now.
On curve, on point. You know, keeping Coin is not the worst thing ever. Sylvanas is what he's looking at, so that way he can take control of the boards commandingly and even force out a hero power from Mage. Makes it really awkward.
Yeah, not only that, it contests with a lot of the 5-drops that Mage could throw down in the next turn, like Loatheb or Sludge Belcher. So, very heads-up play from Reynad. I like it.
It's just that it leaves the Keeper of the Grove exposed for 1, and I suppose you're just going to be swiping next turn. Yeah. Although, what comes out of this Pilot Shredder? I'm not exactly sure. Oh, Wrath. Wrath for 1. Pretty significant.
Yeah, how convenient.
The
other question is,
what do you tag first, right?
Yeah, and other thing is, like, whenever I see players have Sylvanas on the board, I typically like them to keep more pressure and more tension on the board. Like, Reynad could easily almost clear this board right now, but does he actually want to?
Right, because then Sylvanas doesn't get too much value. Maybe he just simply drops Drew the Claw instead. Oh, swipe, so that way almost certainly Wrath whatever comes out.
Oh! So, could Reynad have
That's bad. Dude, I feel like we've seen a lot of Millhouse and Succubus.
This is our second Millhouse of the tournament, and we've seen 2 Succubus as well. Right. Do you think Reynad could have considered actually Wrathing his own Sylvanas? Yeah. It's basically
you're right.
It trades a Wrath for a 4/4, and I feel like that's a good trade. Well, that's a pretty good one. Stranglethorn Tiger.
That is really interesting. I think you bring up an excellent point. Reynad had an opportunity to seize back the board there. All right, well, Wild Growth pretty much allows him to play anything next turn. Gonna save it, I guess, for Card Cycle instead. He's got Savage Roar, so he's gonna try to go on the offensive.
That's interesting, but he's kind of gets slightly punished with the Flame Cannon. But
yeah, then it stops Dr. Boom.
Yeah, we'll see if RDU draws something else to help the Flame Cannon.
Yeah, Mirror Entity.
Yeah, this Seems like a good flame cannon turn, but I mean, it is turn 7, so Dr. Balance might just come on the board.
Yeah, this is a really interesting series of lines that's been taken here.
By both players, I feel.
Yeah. And Swipe still deals with everything here, although I think Reynad's still looking for ways to sneak in damage.
So, Reynad, he didn't use the Wrath on Sylvanas a few turns ago, but I guess he can Wrath something now. There's a lot of choices as to what to Wrath. And the order you do it in, even.
If he does damage with the Druid of the Claw, he's put his opponent at 17. If he plays Sludge Belcher, most likely it won't stick either. So even if you draw a combo, it's going to be complicated. I think I'd rather just hero power down the 1/1 after attacking.
Oh, Reynad's just going to
attack the face.
Yeah, Reynad's going to stick with his plan.
So he just keeps telegraphing that he has combo. Now, unfortunately for him, that means Flame Strike's going to destroy everything. Right? I guess he doesn't have to. He can still use Flame Cannon.
What to do?
Wait, hold on. He could use Flame Cannon?
Yeah, I think
and maybe develop the Emperor instead.
Yeah, I think I might have liked that slightly better.
Well, I mean, the Boombot RNG is not as reliable, too. This is like the guaranteed.
Well, you could have, I believe you could have guaranteed clear the other way. You
this
just
is so
lose
greedy,
some damage
Monk. So greedy to attack into the 1-2 to try to go for the Boombot, the 50-50.
Yeah, he doesn't go for that. Yeah.
Okay. Reynad looking for some way to stabilize, but he's taken so much damage. Second Savage Roar. So he's going to Wrath. Wrath for 1. Hopefully picks up Big Game Hunter.
Yeah, Big Game Hunter or Taunt, but no, that's not it. Violet Teacher.
Violet Teacher, yeah, it's not going to do it. So Reynad concedes, despite having the Dream Start, didn't actually have enough steam to keep it up, even though he still curved that well. So I feel like there's definitely some decision making that could have definitely changed the outcome here and there on both sides.
Yeah.
What do you think, Monk?
I guess he could have stolen the
4/4?
The 4/4 with the Wrath.
But then it would have, how that changed things?
Well, so what would happen is he would have a 4/4 against a 5/5 Stranglehorn Tiger. And he could have used that 4/4 to get more damage in addition to the Druid of the Claw charge form. So he would have been a little closer to lethal, but I'm not sure if he still would have gotten lethal. That being said, it would also would have forced RDU to play more defensively. He probably would have had to use the Flame Strike on turn 7 instead of Dr. Boom. So it would actually change the game completely, and we really can't tell what would have happened there.
I mean, RDU likely could have still won there. And regardless, you know, now that Mage is gone, Reynad still has to win against Hunter, and Druid can do that. Of course, it always comes down to the Hunter mirror as well.
Yeah.
I think Reynad might just stick with Druid here, try to beat that Hunter.
Yeah, either option I wouldn't blame him on, and it's going to be Face Hunter versus Face Hunter.
Somewhat inconsequential. It doesn't really matter if you win with Hunter or if you win with Druid. You still have to beat it.
I do have to give RDU the slight advantage here in the Hunter mirror even, because RDU is a really big fan of Hunter. He uses it to climb Legend to Legend every single time. Yeah. And in fact, I believe he's like number 3 in terms of EU points this season, just from playing Hunter on ladder.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. He also says Hunter vs. Hunter is his favorite matchup in the game.
Yes. What a crazy dude.
Try hard at you. Hunter vs. Hunter is going to determine a lot by who can get the right curve, who can get the damage in, who can win the race and take the early lead.
Yeah, and like you always say, who gets the coin? Because
gets the coin.
Because as you said, the player who doesn't get the coin seems to have an advantage.
Yeah,
as long as they have a 1-drop.
Yeah. Well, it depends, right? If you have that 1-drop, but your opponent has the coin and has Unleash the Hounds with Knife Juggler, then they still have really strong comeback potential. Or if you go first and your opponent has Explosive Trap, then it's really difficult sometimes to climb back too if they have something on the board because it forces you to trade.
Well, this is certainly going to be a quick one.
RDU has a 1-drop and he goes first. Reynad has... Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. So Reynad has Unleash the Hounds. Does help him. The thing is, RDU doesn't have necessarily the cleanest 2 play. He just has a Abusive Sergeant. He'd ideally like to pick up something else too. Maybe Mad Scientist.
Huffer is not good. You can use it next turn, but...
Going first can mean you attack first, too, which is also really nasty.
Yeah, it just gives you the initiative overall. Yeah, I like this play from Reynad. He doesn't wait for the Knife Juggler. He goes for the much more safe play, and now Reynad is the one with the initiative.
Right. And of course, you know, how does RDU respond? He's going to have some... He's got a series of plays here. Animal Companion is generally a little bit better than 3 mana on average.
Yeah, that's probably the best one here. Huffer wouldn't have been that great because it would be traded into by the Leper Gnome.
Yeah. Now, there's an opportunity for Reynad to roll 2 cards that can deal with it. Another Misha or Huffer.
Oh.
Misha versus Misha.
Misha's fine.
Now, this is weird. This is like the slowest Hunter versus Hunter I've ever seen.
Yeah, both players are playing taunts? What?
Well, not necessarily intentionally, and now this is really awkward for RDU.
Yeah, RDU, he might be considering the Arcane Golem, but giving the opposing Hunter 1 more mana is just...
Right.
It's usually game deciding, because sometimes they just fit in 2 more hero powers in with that extra 1 hero power, or with that extra 1 mana.
Okay, well, he has an opportunity to clear the Misha relatively easily.
Yeah.
It's all about 50-50, though. The Wolf Rider and the Glavezuka in tandem can take it out. But at worst, you have a weapon on the board and you're doing damage. But he's really far behind the race.
I even question... he's hovering over Unleash the Hounds. I guess that could help as well. So if he... I don't know. I kind of like saving Unleash the Hounds a bit more. So instead, okay, he's going to Explosive Trap. Usually Explosive Trap gets a little more value in this matchup, killing more than just 1 creature.
But he can't take damage again.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go for the
especially that
50-50.
Misha is probably the biggest creature you can possibly get in the matchup.
Well, health-wise, for sure. Are you going to start putting out even more damage, having that charger come down? Put him down to 15. And this is going to end very quickly in the next 2 turns, maybe 3 at most.
Again, a difficult decision from Reynad. Oh, this feels so bad. You're summoning. This is basically Stone Tusk Boar.
Yeah, and you miss out a hero power. But he does take initiative.
He does take initiative, but RDU still has the Explosive Trap on the back end to prevent any possible shenanigans. Oh, actually, I think he just might hero power at this point. Oh, getting an Explosive Trap in as well.
Now, of course, there is a small chance it is, what's it called?
Snake or freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can also play Mad Scientist to potentially summon another Explosive Trap, so that way he's higher likelihood of being able to defend against a charger. But this is really tough spot. Yeah. Of course, if you're Reynad, you might need to start just putting out as much damage as possible, hero powering. So you just trigger the trap, play the Worgen Infiltrator and hero power. Disincentivize your opponent from getting any more damage in. The quick shots, though, I mean, those things could just straight up end the game, Monk.
Yeah, I believe we've seen so many Phase Hunters in this tournament, but this will actually be the first quick shot that actually draws a card.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is there an Explosive Trap? There is an
Explosive Trap.
So, Unleash the Hounds, a quick shot. 13 damage. There is a chance, though, for it to just end the game right here. No?
Leper Gnome. Let's see. Do you play that?
Yeah, it's still 2 guaranteed damage. Can Reynad end right here? He's got 4/6.
Quick shot. The legendary quick shot into quick shot.
Kill command and quick shot. How much damage is that? 5? 11? So he needs to draw. He needs to. No, he doesn't have enough mana.
So he can kill command.
Yeah, so he can kill command and then quick shot. But the thing is, he needs to prevent damage from happening to himself. Right? He doesn't have enough mana.
No, he needs Arcane Golem or Wolf Rider. He needed one of those 2 cards and he would have won, right?
Well, his opponent just needs 1 damage, and Leroy is more than enough, so even if Reynad cleared, RDU is going to win this best of 5 and go to the round of 4, guaranteeing himself $500. And Reynad will have to back down here, single elimination, so I guess he's free to do whatever he wants at this point. RDU is going to the round of 4.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for Reynad. He only got to play 1 match, and he lost. But fortunately for him, he lost it to his best friend.
Yeah, I guess so. Reynad didn't play yesterday, but you know what? Still didn't matter much as RDU's on a hot streak. He's gotten 2nd place at the Amazon tournament, and now he's here top 4. So pretty good results overall for him. I'm pretty happy because I think RDU was definitely struggling for a while competitively, but I think it balances out. You know, RDU, he won so much in the summer and a little bit into the fall, but then went really cold for a while. Yeah. And he's a guy that pressures himself to perform well, so you can definitely see the fruits of his labor.
Yeah, maybe it's just that RDU performs really badly sometimes in certain seasons, but he does well in other seasons. Like, I believe this is around the time last year when he won his first DreamHack, right? It was April, I believe.
It was in June he won, because in April he got top 4 at Bucharest.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, where he lost to Daniel, the Romanian player.
CT.
Yeah, Citin.
Declan.
And then he went on to face Gara for top 4. I think Amaz was also in top 4 too. But, really interesting times.
But before that, I believe he qualified for CN versus EU number 1.
He was part of the squad that embarrassed China so badly that the CEO asked the players to try and get a win for a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It was him, life coach, Savitz, and Bahirit.
Yeah.
Good times, good times. Trip down memory lane. All right, guys, that wraps up our first series of the day. We have 6 more. We have 3 more quarterfinals and then semis and then the grand finals. We want to give a big shout out to Xfinity for putting on the tournament. Check out everything at xfinityhearthstone.com, as well as anything you need for the Wi-Fi in your household. Yeah. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with more Hearthstone action.